I think the two things that have had the most impact in shaping who I am are one, where I'm from, which is New York City. I grew up in Lower Manhattan, and the other would be my background. I am biracial. I'm half black and half white. And growing up in New York City on the Lower East Side, in a very poor neighborhood, it was very diverse. You know, I got to see a lot of people from different backgrounds. I grew up in a neighborhood that was mostly black and Latino, but was only a block or two away from Chinatown, and so I went to school with mostly blacks and Hispanics and Asians. Um, but at the same time, I was from a very poor family, so I didn't have a lot of resources or access to the types of education and things that kids on the Upper East Side had. And that was very interesting because in a lot of places that I've been to, it seems like there's a very clear demarcation between, you know, classes. You have, one side of town that's poor and the other side that is wealthy or middle class. And in Manhattan, it's all kind of right on top of each other. There is, you can have the projects on one street, and then across the street you have, condos and yuppies and very wealthy people. And you have, I grew up not too far from Wall Street. So I was kind of exposed to a lot of different experiences. I realized very early on that there are a lot of class differences and racial differences, and that I was perceived in many different ways. And because of my background, being half black and half white, it was, I often felt like I was between different worlds. Um, my father is black, but my parents got divorced when I was very young, so he wasn't around. And so I was mostly raised by my white mother. But I couldn't really relate to her because, I didn't look anything like her. And she is from the suburbs, and I grew up in the projects. And, so I'd wake up in the morning and see my white mother, but then look in the mirror and see myself and, think of myself as black, but then go downstairs and go to school and be surrounded, by Hispanics. And so I would often be thought of as Hispanic until it was realized that I didn't speak any Spanish.
Mhm.
So then it was, okay, maybe he's black. And I was, constantly between, trying to figure out exactly who I was and where I fit in. And I think that had a lot of impact.